What's up? What it do? How you doing? I am back with another video. Today, EandE family, I'm showing you how to make apple pie. Don't go nowhere. So, this recipe starts with butter and shortening. So, we're going to add 1 stick of cold, ice cold butter. I put my butter and my shortening in the freezer. You want all your ingredients to be cold. Your butter, your water. I even took a bottle of water, and I know it doesn't look cold to you, but there's ice chips in there. I stuck it in the freezer for it to get ice cold. When everything is cold like that, it helps your crust to turn out so much more flaky and tender. So we're gonna get this chopped up. I don't like to touch my butter and shortening. I want to touch it as little as possible so that I don't warm it up too much. So we're going to get that added. And then a 1/2 cup of shortening. So to our butter and our shortening, we're going to add 2½ cups of all-purpose flour. I would not use cake flour for this, guys, because I'm pretty sure your crust will not turn out right. So we're going to add 2½ cups. And for this, you don't have to sift. So that's another good thing about this. Next, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. And we're going to add 2 teaspoons of granulated sugar. Okay, so before I add my cold water, I like to get this pulsed around a little. I do it in my food processor because, like I said, I don't want to touch the dough. I want to touch the dough as little as possible. So let's go ahead and plug this up. And I'm just going to pulse it until we get a pea-like consistency from our butter and our shortening. So here we go. Okay, so I have the consistency that I want. So next, we're going to start adding our cold water. And we're going to do it by the tablespoon. So, because we don't want to add too much water, because then it won't act right. It'll be sticky and it won't be right at all. So I'm going to take this out. And I do a tablespoon at a time. So I'm going to add let's do 2 tablespoons at a time. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of ice cold water, and then I'm going to pulse. Just like that. So I'm going to keep adding the ice cold water until this forms a ball. So far I've added 4 tablespoons of water. So we'll see. I poured a cup of ice cold water in here. So we'll see if we use the entire cup or if we actually end up only using a 1/2 cup. Okay, so I put a little flour on my board so that my dough wouldn't stick to my board. And we're just going to knead this around just a little. We don't want to knead it too much because we don't want our dough to be tough. And we don't want our butter and our shortening to start melting from the heat of our hands. So just like that, just a little. So that's basically what your dough should look like. So I'm going to wrap this up in some plastic wrap. I'm going to stick it in the fridge. You can do this overnight. You could do this for an hour. I'm going to stick it in the fridge while we get to working on these apples. Don't go nowhere. So I like to use a variety of apples when I make my apple pie. And I use Granny Smith and I use Honeycrisp. I like the tartness from the Granny Smith, but I like the crisp crunch from the Honeycrisp. So just going to take my peeler, if you have one of these. If not, invest in one because it's the best thing to use when taking the skin off your apple. And we're just gonna take the skins off of them like that. So all my apples are cut up. I have them in my bowl. And next, I'm gonna squeeze a little lemon juice over my apples. Okay. So next, we're gonna get to seasoning our apples. So I'm gonna add a little granulated sugar. And I have my 1/4 cup measuring cup here. Add a little white sugar. Gonna add a little salt. That's too much salt. Like that. Gonna add a little cinnamon, a little nutmeg, and I'm gonna add some apple pie spice that I have. And the last thing I'm gonna add is a little brown sugar. Okay, so let's toss this around in all of our seasoning. Okay, so let's give one of these apples a taste, just to see if we have enough of our seasonings on there. Very good. But I think it could use a little more seasoning. Okay, now let's see if we have enough. I'm sure we do, but let's just taste to make sure. Plenty. So next, we're going to roll out our dough. So I've let my dough chill for about an hour. I'm going to take it out. It's nice and cold and firm. I'm going to get my rolling pin. I'm going to sprinkle a little flour on top. And roll. Now, this is going to take a little elbow grease because it's been sitting in the fridge. But it is so worth it. So, you don't want your pie dough, your pie crust too thin. But you don't want it too thick either. So I wrote it out about an inch of thickness is what I wrote mine out to. Here we go. Okay, so we got it all in there, right? And just lightly press down like that. So, now I am not the best crimper / make your pie shell around the edge look pretty person. But we're going to give it a try, okay? So, I'm going to start. Take a little of this off too. So, start here. Like that. Fold it under. Like that. I think I'm going to start from here. And pinch. Just like that. It ain't professional, but it's going to do for today. So, next, we want to get our pie filling added to our crust. So at this point, you might be saying, Lex, that wasn't enough dough to cover the top. And you're absolutely correct. That's because I'm going to make a crumb topping for this apple pie. So I have 2 sticks of room temperature softened butter. And to that, I'm going to add some flour. We're going to add some granulated sugar to that. We're going to get in here with a fork. We're going to get these mashed together. Or you can get in here with your hands as well. So I went back and I added a little oats to this to give it a little more texture. And so it can hold up a little better. And so now we're just going to add it to the top of our pie. That's it. That's all, y'all. So simple and easy. I know you're saying you're right. That's simple and easy. But it really is. So this is what your unbaked apple pie with a crumb topping should look like. So before I stick this in the oven, I'm going to put a piece of foil around the crust because I don't want these edges to get done before the rest of the pie is done. We're going to bake this in a 350-degree oven. We're going to bake it until the top is golden and bubbly and brown. So we're going to bake it for about 30 to 45 minutes. Y'all been here before. You already know it's going to happen. When we come back, we are going to get a taste of this amazing homemade apple pie. You don't want to miss this. Y'all don't go nowhere. So this is my apple pie. Here, let me show you the actual pie itself. So that's not what it actually looks like. This is the actual pie itself. Yum. But when I cut it and took it out the pie shell, it fell apart on me. But that don't mean it ain't edible, y'all. So let's go ahead and get a taste of this pie, apple pie. That's amazing. The combination of the apples, the Granny Smith and the Honey Crisp, perfect. The crust, let's see. That crust is perfect. It's buttery and flaky. And our crumb topping. This is delicious. Pair it with some vanilla ice cream, whipped cream, caramel sauce. Eat it by itself. This is absolutely amazing. If you try this out, you're gonna absolutely love it. As I always tell you, EandE family, I promise you, you will not be disappointed. And that's it for today, EandE fam. Like, share, comment on this video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification so that you can be notified when a new video is uploaded. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. The links are in the description box below. Also, EandE family, if you haven't got your t-shirt yet, hit the link in my description box for new merch at teespring.com to get your t-shirt today. And as always, EandE family, don't forget to live a little and love a lot. Y'all be easy. Peace. I had a little ice cream in my apple pie. It's Carb Smart ice cream. Don't judge me. That's good. Try this out, I'm telling you. You know I don't steer you wrong. Bye, y'all.